Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 89. Thank you very much for joining me. I am vibing high today. In fact, I'm vibing high this week, but particularly today. So I've been very much looking forward to recording this episode. And I hope that my good vibes that I'm experiencing right now from how I am feeling emanate out of the speakers that you are listening through and into you all, because I really would love for everybody to feel the way that I'm feeling right now. So, firstly, I just want to acknowledge that I didn't post an episode last week, and that is because I was having yet another episode of Catherine wheeling last Sunday and Monday when I thought I was all right, which, as you can imagine, made it very difficult to use a laptop. But on the plus side, because there's always a silver lining, that suggests to me that perhaps I am not so dangerous at baking that I managed to poison myself with a loaf. I actually think that maybe I had a bug like that norovirus or something like that. So that's, the silver lining. And I can once again attempt to bake a loaf without fear of causing dysentery if I ever feel so inclined to do so again. So anyway, I'm back. Haven't shit my pants for over a week now, which is fantastic news. And I'm ready to go. So what I want to talk to you about this week is the power of having courage and how it can create magical moments in our lives and put us on very exciting new paths. And a couple of weeks ago, I watched a clip of a film called We Bought a Zoo. So We Bought a Zoo is a film with Matt Damon in, and the crux of it is that he buys a zoo, basically, if you hadn't already guessed from the title. And he has this incredible life then, which is difficult at times, and everybody thinks he's absolutely mad and he's made the wrong decision and can't see how it's going to work out. But over the course of the film, you see that it was a fantastic decision, and his children had this really magical life surrounded by all these animals, and he overcome all of the adversity that he faced. And there's a scene in it at the beginning about, well, I don't know if it's at the beginning, but it's talking about how he met his wife. And he met his wife because she was in a coffee shop and he went in there and he couldn't resist talking to her, and he felt really nervous about it. But his intuition was telling him to go and talk to this woman, and she ended up being the love of his life. So it's a lovely, really, really lovely film. If you've not watched it, I'd highly recommend it. It's a really good, feel-good film. So in there's a little quote when he's talking to, I think he's talking to his son, and he says this. I've written it down somewhere. There we go. So he says, sometimes all you need is 20 seconds of insane courage. Just literally 20 seconds of just embarrassing bravery. And I promise you, something great will come of it. So I wrote that in my notes and I was like, I'm going to do an episode on this because I couldn't have heard that at a better time in my life. And as a result of watching that, I did something that I have been wanting to do for a long time, and it doesn't make any sense. There is no evidence to say that it's the right choice in the 3D, There's not nobody, but there's not many people who would agree that this is the right decision. But after 9 years of working in the school that I work in, I have handed in my notice. And I've handed it in not to go to another job, but to work for myself and build my business in self-development and helping people. And let me tell you, it was a scary moment to go in and hand in my notice and say, in 12 weeks, I am leaving. Fully, I'm out, see you later, love you, bye. And if I hadn't have done that, I would have continued to get that feeling, just like Matt Damon in the film would have continued to get that feeling that he should have gone and spoken to that girl in the coffee shop. So sometimes following your intuition requires you to be courageous, and it just requires you to have 20 seconds of insane bravery where you do something that you just know is right, that's in your heart, that is right for you, even if it doesn't make sense to everyone else. And believe me, this week I have had lots of people saying, but you need to think about your bills and you need to think about this, and I understand, like, I completely understand that there is no evidence currently in the 3D that I am going to make it. The evidence is in my vision, is in my mind, it's in my imagination. And because it's in my imagination, because it's in my mind, and I understand that that is what is creating my future, I feel confident that it is absolutely the right decision. And although I was super nervous because, you know, my best friends work at that school and I adore it. I love everything about the school. I don't hate my job. I love my job. But I've felt for a long time like it is holding me back. And I think we can all relate to that feeling of being in your comfort zone, whether it's in a job or whether it's in a relationship or whether it's in a friendship circle, anything. When you feel comfortable but you feel like something is just not right and it's holding you back. And the people who are going to make it are the people who are following their intuition and going where they are led by it, even if it feels a little bit scary and there's no proof yet that it's the right choice. So that is what I've done. And I feel like I've been talking about this for fucking ages. Like, I have been thinking about doing this for a long time. I've mentioned it a million times on the pod. And now I've done it. I've done it, guys. So as of the 28th of March, which is my last day, I will be self-employed and fully committed to the growth of everybody who listens and everybody in my audience. And I'm so grateful, so grateful for every single person that has listened to the podcast and that has supported me and that has followed me on Instagram and that has worked with me. It means so much to me because you are making my vision become a reality. And I could actually cry. But I'm really, really grateful. Starting this podcast has truly been the best decision of my life. A couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago, I was freshly jilted. I'd lost everything in my life. Like, I didn't have a relationship. My home was gone. I was leaving my job. Like, the shit was just hitting the fan. And now it feels like it's all coming back together for me to be on the right path and to be doing what I know I should be doing, which is helping people discover their own power. So yeah, I want to really, really express my gratitude for that. And I'm nearly 35 now. It's nearly my birthday, and 35 is going to be a fucking fantastic year for all of us. So thank you. Having said that, I know that's a really, really big decision that lots of people might not be ready to do, if it's the right decision for them, of course. But it doesn't have to be as big as something like leaving a relationship or leaving a job or moving to a different country. It can be so much smaller than that. So I want to share with you something that I did today where I was practising using courage, because that's something I really, really want to do, and I'd love you to do that as well. It's such a good thing to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that is when you're leaving your comfort zone and entering your growth zone. And every time you enter your growth zone and you do something new and you do it repeatedly, you bring that activity into your comfort zone, which means that you've expanded, your awareness has expanded, and you're a bigger and better person for doing it. So then you can then go on to the next step and go back into your growth zone again, repeat that activity and bring it into your comfort zone. And that is how you expand. So imagine it like a target. Think of your comfort zone being in the middle and your growth zone being the centre ring, and then there's another zone at the outside, but I won't go into that at the minute. So things are in your growth zone, you don't really want to do them, you're a little bit resistant to them, all the fears come in, but you push through that into that growth zone, do that activity more than once, and then suddenly your comfort zone has expanded. Does that make sense? I could do with a visual here, but I hope that makes sense. So that is my understanding of how we keep growing and keep expanding and keep getting better and better and making our life more and more fulfilling and exciting and adventurous. So what can you do this week that is going to put you into your growth zone by being courageous? So something that I have had this little block around for a long time. You might have seen this on my Instagram story this morning. But I will do things that put me out of my comfort zone. I will go and get in freezing cold water. I will leave my job with no income. I will do things that are risky. But there's something that I have had a weird block around for a very long time, and that is eating and drinking on my own. I don't mean in my house on my own. I do plenty of that. But I mean going out to a restaurant or a cafe or a coffee shop even, and ordering a coffee and sitting in the coffee shop or sitting in the cafe and eating some food, or in a restaurant or whatever. And I have seen people do this for years and thought nothing but good thoughts about them. I've admired them and thought, how amazing to be able to just go and eat on your own. And that, you might be listening now and thinking, I do that all the time, but there might be something else for you. I'm just using this as my example. But for me, that was a really big thing to do. And I feel like when I was single before I met my last ex, I used to do more stuff on my own. Like I would go out and about. I would never do that, but I would go out and about and I'd go to things and I'd do things on my own. And then I was with that person for 6 years and I kind of got used to doing everything with him. And then when I became single, I kind of I suppose it knocked me a little bit and I stopped doing as many things on my own. And I felt a little bit weird about it. And because I've grown to really love my own company, I've got to a dangerous level of enjoying my own company. And I do feel like it's a really good thing to be able to enjoy your own company. However, if it's keeping you in the house and stopping you from doing things because you're not doing them with someone, then that's a bit of an issue, I believe. So great to be on your own, great to love your own company, but not so great if you are just trapped in the house all the time, not doing anything because you're not with someone or you're not with all your friends all the time. So that's the position that I've found myself in recently, is weekend is just the same as every other day. I'm just hanging around the house and I'm enjoying it. Don't get me wrong, I thoroughly enjoy my own company. But I started missing going out and doing more things. And I felt like my life was getting a little bit like Groundhog Day. So this morning I was supposed to be going for my breakfast with my friend Emily. And she couldn't come because she just had a little baby and her baby wasn't very well. So she couldn't come and I was like, yeah, no problem, that's fine. Didn't bother me. I was thinking, yeah, I'll just stay in. And then I thought, hang on a little minute here. I feel like this is a sign from the universe to be courageous and to go and still have lunch out, but on your own, right? This was a big step for me. This made me more nervous than handing my notice. So I did. I got up, got dressed, I had a shower, got dressed, got myself ready, as if I was going for lunch with her. And then I got in the car and I sat outside for a minute and I was like, oh shit, I feel weird. And anyway, I thought, it's okay, I'll take my book and I will sit in the corner and it'll be absolutely fine. So I walked in and it's absolutely fucking heaving. Every single person in the Northwest was in this cafe that I was in. It's called Rivington Barn. If you don't know it, get to know it. It's fantastic. But I went in and it was really busy and they just had one table, and this one table was slap bang in the centre. Just this table on its own, not up against a wall, not near the window, right in the middle near the door. So it was the table that you saw first as you walked in, and it was so busy. And I was thinking, oh shit, this is not what I signed up for. I was thinking I was going to have a little quiet, discreet lunch in the corner. Anyway, I was like, yeah, That's great. Thank you very much. And I sat down and I had a bottle of fizzy water and I ordered a cappuccino and I had avocado on toast and it was fucking delicious. And I sat and read my book and I looked around at people and I made a point of not going on my phone because that's what people do in it. Like if you're in a queue or you're on your own somewhere or you're walking somewhere, you're looking at your phone all the time. And I thought that's cheating. I'm not doing that. So I put my phone down and I just sat and read my book and looked around and smiled at people and spoke to the girls that were serving. And I had a really, really, really nice time. And nobody came up to me and said, "What are you doing eating on your own, you fucking weirdo?" Like, not a single person. I didn't even see anybody's face that looked like they were thinking that because they weren't. Like, why would you? So that just really took a bit of courage from me. But after it, I felt so excited because suddenly I started thinking about all of the things that I could do on my own. And that's one of the things that I'd said I wanted to bring into the new year was like solo experiences. And I would love to go on like a solo holiday at some point, but I thought I'm not going to go on a solo holiday if I can't even have a fucking cup of coffee on my own, am I? So get a grip. But I started then thinking, like, what else can I do on my own? So I'm going to go to the Spiritualist Church. I think I'm going to go tonight. I think they've got something on tonight, but if not, they've got something on tomorrow. So I'm going to go on my own. And this is another thing that I'd asked somebody or a couple of friends to come with me and they couldn't because of one reason or another, they were busy. But that stopped me from going. And it's something I really want to do. So I feel like I've got loads of power back from just being a bit brave and doing something on my own. So that's what I want you to think about this week is what could you do on your own that would make you feel like you need a bit of courage and would make you feel empowered, because it's a really, really empowering thing to do. Loving your own company is fantastic. And if you've not got that bit yet, that's something to work on. Like, get used to being on your own and enjoying your own company without having to go out and without doing things. But the next step after that is, can you go and do things on your own? And I don't mean like, can you go to Asda? But for some people, that might be the next step. I mean, can you go and have an experience that you would normally do with somebody else, but can you do it on your own? Can you build up that little bit of bravery, that 20 seconds of courage to make a decision to go and do something solo? Because let me tell you, it's one of the best feelings that I have had in absolutely ages, and it's made me feel so empowered. I feel like I could just go and take over the world right now. And I think maybe a lot of people who are listening will be quite surprised that that's not something that I already do or that I was already doing, because I am a person who truly doesn't give a fuck what people think. Like, that is who I am. But I just had this weird block that obviously I was limiting myself by not doing things on my own. And maybe I subconsciously have got a little thing about what people think of me. I'm sure that we all have got something like that somewhere. So I feel very, very empowered, and I want you to feel like that too. So I'm going to share with you some ideas of how you can have a solo experience this week. And I would be so excited for you if you commit to doing just one of these things, because trust me, it will change your life. Like, I'm so excited right now about what I've done and what I'm going to do next. And I want you to feel like that. So really think about doing one of these things this week, because there's no good sitting here every week listening to my Bolton accent if you never take any action on what I'm sharing with you. So commit to doing one of these things, and of course take a photo, tag me on your Instagram, and I will share it, and come and share it in the Facebook group to inspire other people. So I've got some suggestions for you. The first one is exactly what I've just done, which is go and have something to eat in a cafe or in a restaurant, or even just go and have a cup of coffee in a coffee shop. And don't sit scrolling on your phone, because we use that as like a bit of a safety blanket when we feel a little bit awkward. So take a book, or don't take anything. Just have a conversation with the person sitting near you, or don't, just people watch. Whatever makes you feel better, but don't sit and scroll on your phone. So go and have some kind of dining experience, or at least drinking experience. So my next one for you is going to the cinema on your own, right? This is another bit of a plot that I've got, and I think I'm going to have to do this. First of all, I haven't been to the cinema for about 5 years, I reckon. I don't think I've been since well before COVID. And there was a movie that was out, that was very American of me, a film that was out called, what was it, Barbie, the Barbie film. And I really wanted to go and watch it, and I'd made plans with somebody to go and see it, and then we couldn't do it because the date didn't match up with, we're both busy doing something on the opposite date. And I didn't go and see it, and I missed it at the cinema, and now I'm kicking myself thinking I should have just gone. I should have just gone and watched it. So that would be like the next step for me, would be to go and watch a film on my own. My dad does this all the time. Usually if my mum's bollocked him and he's in the doghouse, he'll go and watch a film on his own at the cinema. And it's always made me a bit uncomfortable that he's there on his own. I feel like, oh. So yeah, go and watch a film on your own. Something else that you could do is you could attend some kind of like meetup or a group. So like I was saying, I'm going to go to the spiritualist church because they're my kind of people and it's something that I'm interested in developing. And they do things about mediumship and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to do. But if you're struggling to think of something like that, you could go on an app called Meetup, and it shows you like, I don't know, it's displayed now, I can't remember, but it's like all categories, so like whatever you're interested in, and then it shows you like local meetups of people who are like-minded. So it's kind of, you're not on your own, you're going to something, but you're going on your own, so you're not taking a friend with you. Another one is to go to a concert, and I'm pretty sure a friend of mine, Jane, who listens to the pod, who she does all of that stuff to do with like spiritualist church and things, and I'm sure she went to a concert on her own recently, and I remember thinking, yes girl, go and get it. So I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was a concert that she went to. So going to a music concert or some kind of performance on your own. One that I would love to do is to go to an art gallery. I'm a bit of a nerd like that. I love things like that. So we've got a gallery in Bolton. If you've ever been, you'll know which one I'm talking about. And there's a little aquarium under it that I used to get dead excited about going to when I was little. But they have a really good Egyptian collection of stuff, and I've taken the kids on a school trip a couple of times, and I was fascinated by it, and I would love to just go and walk around the museum and the art gallery and look at all the stuff in there and look at the artwork in there and just spend a little afternoon just perusing around it. So going to like an art gallery or a museum. Joining a course, like to learn a new skill. So let's say you want to learn a new language, or you want to learn, I don't know, how to do... I once did one on nails. I was fucking useless. I passed out actually on the first one because of the fumes from the nail stuff, and I was absolutely useless at nails. But learning a new skill like that, so maybe you want to do a course on beauty or a course about flower arranging or something like that. You don't have to have somebody come with you. You can actually do that on your own. Going for a walk, like that is something I'm very comfortable with. I don't need somebody to come with me on a walk, but I know other people do. So if you've got like a nice little nature reserve near you, and you'll maybe ring your friend and say, do you want to go for a walk, and they're busy, just go walk on your own. You'll love it. It's beautiful. It could be a little mini break, so maybe not like a full-blown holiday, although I'd love to hear about your solo travels if you do go on a full-blown holiday, but you could go away for like a little weekend. I know my granddad used to really enjoy going on painting weekends because my grandma wasn't interested in painting, so he would go on painting holidays and he'd like meet complete strangers and have a lovely time. So doing something like that. You could go and have a photo shoot. I know that's a bit of a random one, but if you are looking for a bit of a confidence boost and you need something to cheer you up, maybe you've been struggling a little bit with your image or your your view of yourself, like physically, you might go and have a photo shoot on your own and have somebody tart you up with a bit of makeup and take some lovely shots of you. I like this one. I've got a good idea for this one. A beach day. Going to the beach, when it's a really, really nice sunny day, which hopefully we'll have more of soon because it'll be coming spring before you know it. Going to the beach and just sitting there, take your boot, take a little picnic, set yourself up with your deck chair, find yourself a nice spot, maybe take your cosy so you can have a dip in the sea and spend the day at the beach. You don't have to be with anyone. It's so important that we learn to do things on our own because we're limiting ourselves if we don't. So there are some little suggestions for you. I'd love to hear any other suggestions that you've got because I'm going to make it my mission this year to do more things on my own because I really enjoy my own company now, so that's not a problem. The thing that I need to get past is going out and enjoying my own company at new places or even meeting new people because my friendship circle is pretty fucking sparse right now, guys. It's basically you lot, that's it. And I don't see you all because you're on the other side of the speakers. So thank you for being here and always supporting me and sending me lovely messages and replying to my stories and leaving me reviews and doing all of those things because I'm really, really grateful that you are here and I really do truly feel like you are all very close friends of mine. So thank you so much wherever you are in the world. You've got a friend in me. So I will tag the little video of Matt Damon on the We Bought a Zoo meeting, and it's the scene where he explains to his children how he met his mum, and it just shows you about how he's used that 20 seconds of bravery and it's changed his life. So I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I didn't write any notes today, so I feel like I've just been talking randomly for 25 minutes. And I feel like it's been a bit of a diary entry, but bear with me because this week has been a very important week in my life and I wanted to share it with you all. So I hope you found it useful and I hope you have a fantastic week doing loads of cool solo shit. Don't forget to tag me in your stories and I'll see you next week.